My favorite kind.
Excellent. Okay. Welcome back to another episode of the Voiceover Gurus podcast. So I have a guest with me today who is in a field or an aspect of the acting that we have yet to cover on the podcast. I'm totally excited about it. And that is dialects, because I have no clue. Please welcome Steve Corona. Hey.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Now, where are you living? I saw Mountain Time Zone.
Yeah, so I'm in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, just outside Albuquerque.
Okay, okay. There's an industry out there, isn't there, for acting and for like booming, like really
Yeah,
growing?
I mean, not as much as it was, but that's part of the reason I moved out here in the first place from Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota, ooh, big change.
Oofta. Yeah, you betcha.
The winters are very different, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so I was re looking at your bio, and you grew up in a large family. You had what? You were one of five
Yep.
kids, right? So you're saying that you basically started paying attention to human behavior and what personality characteristics at a young age?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, as fourth of five kids, you got to do what you can to get some attention. So, so I'm like, okay, what makes people tick? I remember at a young age thinking, what makes people laugh? What's
Mm.
what's actually funny? And trying things out and kind of using my siblings as my little test, market, little audience, and saying something that would make them laugh one time, but not another time, and kind of learning these sort of rules of comedy and entertainment at a young age.
Mm-hmm. So when you're studying people, which is always what we recommend the voiceover gurus as coaches, that, I get a lot of my inspiration for maybe my lash lady, or someone
Totally.
someone that I saw at the grocery store that had this crazy accent. I'm on Long Island, so there's a lot of that here. And there's times I hear stuff and I'm like, oh, I want to use that.
Yeah.
So tell me, is it along those lines? I'm sure it's probably a lot more in depth than that.
Yeah, I mean, I think pretty much everybody has at least some amount of just kind of natural ability to like mimic people, right? If you find yourself in a group, you might start sounding like that group. If you're hanging out with, your family you haven't seen in a while, all of a sudden you start sliding into that and sounding more like you're back home, whatever it is. So the mimicry definitely is a good place to start. And that's how I started as a kid, just watching and repeating kind of what I heard. I would recite lines from movies as the character, things like that. And so I just kind of had a lot of that as a kid, just that natural mimicry. And yeah, it wasn't until college and I took a dialects class. And I
Oh,
was like, wait a minute, you can you can break this down, you can whoa, this is cool. And it kind of blew my mind just really studying dialects and accents. I never thought of that as an actual academic pursuit. It was just something I could listen and repeat, right?
wow. Wow, wow, wow.
So there's more to it. Yeah.
Is there a difference between an accent and a dialect?
Yeah. Um,
I'm
this gets a
speaking
little,
completely like someone I really have no clue.
no, it's all good. And here's the thing, to be honest, a lot of people use those terms interchangeably. You know,
Yeah.
they say one and mean the other. Um, so honestly, it used to bother me, like, oh, well, what you mean is, and then I realized it doesn't matter. In the end, if we both understand what we're talking about, so be it. I learned that on a movie set when the director said, "Can you change their accent?" when he meant dialect. Anyway, I digress. Um, so here's how I define it. And this is based on my personal research and what I've heard from other dialect coaches. It
Mhm.
may not match everyone's definition, but I look at accent as being the specific sounds that a person makes that identifies them as being from a particular place.
Okay.
So, for example, if I go back home, to up north in Wisconsin, Minnesota, we got a lot of like drawn out, really like rounded, long vowels,
Yeah.
right? So that might be one key feature of the accent, right? Dialect, I think of as more of the big picture. It's accent and then some, right? It's things like the oral posture, the placement. Where do people from that area generally resonate their speech? Is it more frontal? Is it more back in the throat? Right.
Mhm.
Um, so there's the oral posture. There's the accent. There's the some coaches call it prosody or the cadence, the intonation, the rhythm of it. And then on top of that, there's things like colloquialisms, certain terms you'll use in certain
Oh.
areas or countries that you don't in other places that identifies you like, oh, okay, yeah, that person's got to be a New Yorker because,
Mhm.
that one term they just used, right? So all of these things mix together to form a dialect. Now, that's my definition,
Yeah,
but
that
I'm
makes
looking at
sense.
it from a performance perspective, right?
Right.
Other people might think of it differently.
That makes sense though. Okay, because I honestly was doing the same thing, interchangeably dialect
Yeah.
accent, not understanding. So you, because of the fact that you were always kind of mimicking and listening so well, and then realizing, oh my gosh, dialects is something I can actually study. What was that process like? So you went, did you get a degree in it, or what was the?
Yeah, I mean, not dialect specifically, but it was part of. So I graduated with my bachelor's in acting in theater, and I thought, okay, that's a good start, but I don't feel quite ready yet to pursue this whole acting thing professionally.
Hmm.
So I went and got my master's degree, my MA in also in theater acting. Um, and as part of the program, my theater department chair was teaching a dialects class, and I thought, ooh, that's something that's always resonated with me. Let me check that out. And it was funny because he it was time to choose our classes for the following semester. It was over the winter break, and I'm like, I want to take this dialects class. And he said, oh, well, technically, there's this prerequisite theater speech course that I teach.
Oh.
But since you're a grad student, we'll give you some leeway. Just know you might struggle a little bit. I'm thinking, no, I'm not. I will not struggle at all. But okay, sure. Thanks for the warning, right? And over the break, I got the textbook and I poured into it. I was like, whoa, my mind was blown wide open. I'm like, this is so cool.
Ah.
First day of class, he gives a quiz, pop quiz. Let's see what everyone remembers from last semester's theater speech class. And it's all
Okay.
IPA. If you don't know what that is, it's International Phonetic Alphabet. So
Okay.
it's this really cool system. Every little symbol equals a sound in speech.
Oh, wow.
So you don't have to worry about spelling. It's all
Mhm.
about how it sounds. So I thought that was really cool. I had, gone over it. It was in the textbook. I got over it. I was so excited. I filled out the quiz. I was the first to hand it in. And then I thought, uh-oh, did I go too fast?
Yeah.
Did I miss something? So anyway, everyone finishes. He's grading them in front of everybody. He gets done. He drops his pen. He says, you all are making me look bad. Steve is the only one that didn't take the class. He's the only one that got 100%.
Oh my gosh.
So I
Wow.
thought that was hilarious. Anyway, so right from the beginning, I knew this speaks to me. This is something that,
Uh,
this is for me. And so every time we would learn a new dialect in the class, he would always try to trip me up. And I would always just ace it because it just came naturally to me. And after a while, a couple weeks in, my fellow classmates would start studying with me outside of class because they're like,
Ah,
you know what you're doing, help me out.
yeah.
And after a while, the teacher was like, okay, I can tell which one of you have been studying with Steve because your grades are getting better, So, so I just knew this is something I have to pursue.
You're natural at it.
Yeah,
I know you've pursued it, but when you began, did you focus on camera, stage? What was your initial love?
kind of all of the above. I mean, I think that's why I got an MA instead of an MFA. MFAs tend to be a little more focused and a little more directed at you're going to probably go on and teach somewhere at a university.
Okay.
I just wanted the extra experience, and I'm a little bit more of a generalist. It's weird to say because I know I sort of specialize in dialects as an actor.
Hmm.
I'm the guy, I'm like, okay, give me an audiobook with 30 accents in it. Great. I love it. But I also just love a lot of different performance types and just I'm very interested in a lot of things.
Hmm.
So I got into theater. I got into film, TV, voiceover, audiobooks, you name it. I wanted to at least try it.
Hmm.
So yeah, after graduating, moved down to New Mexico because, as we were talking about earlier, there was this booming film
Yeah.
community.
Hmm.
And I thought, that might be smart to be a little bit of a bigger fish in a smaller pond than go
Right.
to like LA or New York and be a nobody in the millions, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, I started getting my feet wet, auditioning, doing some local theater.
I mean, obviously, if you're really good at dialects, that's going to make you specialty to an agent.
It sure helps.
Yeah, and it's going to narrow the field for you a bit as to what when you audition, you're definitely going to stand out. So, do you find yourself booking jobs based on that, or is it more based on your performance as Steve Corona?
I'd like to say all of the above, but definitely I get called in for roles that some of my other actor friends that maybe have a similar look, similar experience level, don't get called in for because of the accent thing. They're like, "Oh, Steve could do it," you know.
Hmm.
Um,
It's a great
uh,
thing to be known for.
yeah, absolutely. I've even been to some auditions where the casting director was like, "I know you came in for this, but can you also read this? It has an accent."
Yeah,
And it might have been something I wasn't familiar with, and I said, "Can you can I come back in tomorrow? Because then I can nail it."
right.
And most people, they're like, "Oh, that's crazy. There's no way you can nail this in a day." But they knew that I could. And they're like, "Yeah, we'll have you back in tomorrow." And then I did, and I did
Hmm.
fine.
Interesting.
There was one role I auditioned for a Tina Fey movie, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. And they had me come in for the name of the role was Drunken German Airline Pilot Passenger.
That sounds like an
I was like,
incident.
yeah, yeah, baby. And so I came in and I nailed it. I really had fun. And then on the way out, it was the opposite. They were like, "Oh, can you also read for this other? We just have this other little role we need to cast." And it was an American journalist, like one line. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
"Okay, sure, I'm here. It's my job to audition."
Sure.
So I did, and that's the one I got cast for. I was like, "Oh, come on, why not the German guy?" I found out an actual German actor got that, so I'm like, "Okay,
So, do you have, so I, with my students, they'll be like, I want to learn an accent. And I'm like, I always say, I'm not a specialist in this. All I can do is tell you because I do like comedy bits. And it's an exaggerated version of, it's not like I'm,
sure."
perfect. I have to do a funnier version of it. And so I use like little lead-in lines
Mm-hmm.
get me into it. So I'm really bad at an Australian accent, and a lot of my kids are like, "Let's do Australian." I'm like, "It's not a good deal." But my big lead in is like, "Oh, shrimp on the bobby,"
There you go.
I have them say that, and then to try to go into it, it's never very good. But do you have advice for that?
Absolutely, what you're saying. I mean, I use "G'day, mate," to get into my Australian or um, Scottish, I just say like, "Oh, hi," "Oh, great," whatever it is. So it can be short, just a tiny little, it could be one word, it could be a short phrase, just something that's quick and easy to remember that
Yeah.
really hooks you into it. Totally. I call that an anchor phrase. Some people call it, oh, what do they call it? There's all kinds of names people
Yeah.
use.
Oh, anchor phrase. That's a good one. Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, when I tell them too, because I'm in New York, I don't have a New York accent, obviously, but because I've lived all over the country. But I'll say to them, I want you to give me a little New Yorker, and then they're like, "Well, how do I get into that?" I'm like, "I'm walking over here,"
Yeah. I'm walking here. Yeah, totally.
which is fun. So, okay, the dialect process, it sounds complicated to me to learn because you're talking about placement in the mouth. There
Hmm.
are technical aspects that go into this that are separate from performance, right? Or you're combining it. You think it's all the same thing.
Well, a little bit of yes, a little bit of not quite. So it is separate in that, okay, I think of it like this. I teach my students, it's like Legos. All right. The building blocks are the individual sounds.
Mm.
And then we put those together. And now we've got words and a little bit more. And we've got phrases and then we've got sentences. And then we start putting multiple pieces of sentences together. And we've got paragraphs, we've got whole speeches, whole scenes. And now you've got the whole
Oh,
Lego
interesting.
model built, right? So it's like we start with the little piece. We start changing our R's maybe, the way that we tap them, roll them, drop them, soften them, whatever we do. R's are very flexible. Um, and once we get that down, okay, now I can move on to this other block. How do I use these vowels? What do I do here? Okay, now we're putting them together, right?
Mm.
So that's how I think of it is like we start small, build our way up, and then once we've got that muscle memory, that confidence built up, the practice, then yeah, totally, we integrate the
Okay,
act the
gotcha.
accent work in with the other character development work. Absolutely. Because that's the thing, you don't want your accent to be a highlight in a bad way. You don't want it to stick out like a sore thumb.
Right.
You want it to be part of everything else you're doing
Right.
to
So
really make it good. Yeah.
what's your favorite accent to perform?
I mean, I find myself doing Scottish a lot, Irish, German. I've got a handful. Did I tell you the story about Gerard Butler's mom?
I was
Did I
going to
tell
say,
that story?
let's talking about Scottish, Butler, you have experience with training him, yes?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Oh man. Okay. So again, I'd moved down to Albuquerque. I was only here for a couple years, getting to know kind of the local community, getting my network built up. And I'd done some workshops with a local casting director, and she knew I was good with accents, and so she had me teach some accent sections in her workshops for a few months. Anyway, so we kind of had gone our separate ways, but she was working on this film that was shooting in Albuquerque called Gamer, and I was doing my day job. I was driving a delivery truck, and they called me up at the end of the day. I was like getting ready to leave for the day. I'm at work still, and it was the what do you call it? The production manager. And he says, "Hey, this is so and so from this production, and this casting director referred us to you. We need a dialect coach." And I don't know if you've heard of him, but the star of our movie, he's a Scottish actor, Gerard Butler. Oh my God, seriously? And so they needed a dialect coach because his character is American. Fantastic. I
Yeah.
get to teach a Scottish actor how to sound like me. This is great. So, we talked about, he asked what my rate was. I said a number, just kind of shooting it out there, having no idea.
Yeah.
Waiting, waiting. Yeah, okay, we could do that.
You're like,
I
wait, I
was
should
like,
have
I
asked
should have
for
asked
more.
for more.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know. That's always the feeling.
So they bring me on set, and it was crazy. I, I knew that if he liked me, they were going to need me for another like 2 months
Mm.
to finish out the movie. I had no time to put in my 2 weeks notice. I don't recommend this, kids, but
Don't-
I had to drop that job on the spot. I had to quit then and there without giving 2 weeks notice. I
Yeah.
felt bad about it.
Right.
I'm like, this is an opportunity I can't pass up.
Sure.
So without knowing for sure, I went on set that first night and was like, oh man, I hope this works out. And it did. He's hilarious. We're cracking jokes. He just wanted to get to know me a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we go out on set and it's like bing, bang, boom. He was a very quick, okay, Steve, you say the line. I'll repeat it after you. We turn around, action.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, okay, this is fast paced. So that was like a rude awakening of how that all worked. This was my first dialect coaching job, really, on a movie set. And so we got to know each other over the few weeks. And then his mom was coming to visit. Here's the good part of the story. He's like, all right, Steve, all right, you've been mimicking me. Great. Like your Scottish accent, spot on. My mom's coming to visit. We're gonna have a wee bit of fun with her. You pretend to be Scottish. I'm like, no, I couldn't. He's like, no, do it. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. I'm thinking technically he's my boss. I gotta do what he says, right? Okay, here we go. Short little Mrs. Butler walks up. She's like 4 feet tall, maybe. Gerard Butler, 6.5. I'm like, interesting. Like, how does this work out? And so she comes up. She's hilarious. She's like a wee little, tiny little Mrs. Doubtfire, basically. And she's hilarious, and she's just smacking Jerry, and she's just great, full of energy. And oh, Mom, I want to introduce you. This is my mate, Steve. She's like, oh, all right, pleased to meet you. I'm like, oh, it's great to meet you as well, Mrs. Butler. And she's like, oh, where are you from? And I'm like, oh, here we go. Scotland. And she's like, I know that, but what part?
Oh
I'm
no.
like, uh-oh.
You didn't
I
have
did
your
not
follow-up
study. I did
question.
not study for this test. I don't know my geography. The north part. And she's like, no, you're not. I'm thinking the jig is up. She smacks me. You're from Aberdeen, aren't you? I know that accent. I'm like, oh my God. I fooled Gerard Butler's mom into thinking I was Scottish. I'm like, I can't keep this up in good conscience. Jerry's on the ground. He's laughing. He's rolling around. He's like, she's like, what are you laughing at? She's kicking him. I'm like, I'm sorry. I can't anymore. I can't do it. I'm from Wisconsin, actually. She's like, oh, no. She smacks me. You broke my heart. I thought you were actually Scottish.
The ultimate compliment. The
I
ultimate,
know.
right?
Fool the natives, right?
Wow, that's amazing. Well, you're obviously very good at your job, and I know you've coached
Ugh.
on set. Wait, let me back up for a minute. So
Yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah.
basically saying the process was he had the line, you said the line to him in the American accent,
Yep.
then he went out and performed.
Right. In that case, every actor, every show, every situation's a little bit different. It just depends on what works best for them. And that's what I learned early on as a coach. There's not one size fits all,
Hmm.
right? What I learned in the classroom was not how he preferred to learn. In fact, that's part of why he fired his original coach.
Oh, wow.
He said that he felt like she was very condescending and, telling him like, "Oh, that's not right." And he didn't like feeling like he was in school again as a child and having his
Sure.
knuckles wrapped with a ruler. He wanted to be told, "Okay, do this." And okay, you're a little off, or great, you nailed it.
Hmm.
And that's it, you
Right.
know.
Fast paced.
And she was giving him, all kinds of extra information that maybe would be great if you had like a month in pre-production, maybe it's a theater production or something, and we need to get deeper into things. But for the movie, it's very fast paced. It's like, tell me how to say it. I turn around and say it. We move on.
So he didn't do some, like, from some, what I understand, some actors will stay in their accent for the whole time of production. So he
Yeah.
did not do that. He went right back to his.
Oh, he went back to Jerry cracking jokes, being very Scottish in between setups. Absolutely. But yeah, no, the first night, I remember he had a line. It was, listen, kid, I was in the special forces, right? And he was saying, listen, kid, I was in the special forces. I was like, oh, that R got away from you. And so I had to pull him aside. I'm like, okay, I don't know if you're even aware that you're doing this thing, but like your lip curls up sometimes on your R's. He's like, what? No one's ever told me that before. I'm like, well, I'm telling you now, buddy. And he's like, okay. So he does another one and he's like very intentionally like trying to control it. Listen, kids, I was in special forces. He's like, oh my God, that's so much better. I'm like, I know. So just little things like that, being able to pick that out. And I was like, not afraid. I'm like, listen, I got nothing to lose. I mean, I'm gonna be
He was
honest with
receptive.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm gonna tell you what I see, but
Respected you.
be kind about it. So
Hmm.
yeah.
So who else have you worked with?
Oh man, almost right after that movie, Helen Mirren came to town. She was shooting a movie with her husband. Taylor Hackford was directing.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And Joe Pesci was playing her husband.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yeah. And so I got to coach Helen Mirren.
What? She
She was
was
so
needing
lovely.
an American accent?
Yeah,
Really? Oh,
yeah.
wow.
It was so funny early on. I'm like, okay, so I guess I'm the dialect coach that you go to sound American. You
Right,
know,
right.
uh,
Now,
like
Pesci
this
didn't need to change anything. They were going to keep it as is, the way he speaks.
for who? Oh, for Joe
Pesci.
Pesci.
Yeah.
Right. Actually, I wasn't technically his dialect coach. He wanted to put on a little bit of a Texan thing, and that was his choice. And the director's like, okay, take it and run with it, Joe. And Steve, by the way, can you just kind of keep an eye on things? And if he gets a little off track, maybe gently give him a couple notes. But he was fine. He was fine.
Yeah.
So I was working with Helen to make her sound American, but also one of the characters uh, was from Argentina.
Hmm.
The character was. The actor who played him was from Spain. So
Oh,
this
okay.
Spanish actor comes in playing an Argentine character, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, Steve, since you're here already," I'm like, "This wasn't what we agreed." Sure, fine, yeah, I'll go home real quick and learn an Argentine accent so I can teach this Spanish guy. And we pulled it off, apparently. So no complaints.
Wow. So how many accents do you feel that you can coach and do, perform?
I mean, last check, because I've had to fill out some rosters for audiobook companies.
Hmm.
I think the last I said was over 40 that I've either performed or coached
Wow.
total. Yeah,
Do you enjoy audiobooks? That's a
I
process.
love it.
Yeah.
That's almost exclusively what I'm doing these days.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. So, and I'm sure, well, obviously you're u utilizing your talents in that regard, right? As a accent specialist.
Yeah, and it's like you said before with film stuff. I mean, that's kind of what I've carved out my little
Yeah, yeah.
niche in the industry. Oh, this requires a lot of accents. Let's at least have Steve audition.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That is, oh man, that's exciting. Okay, so I told you I do a really bad Australian accent. How can I better my accent? You're on the spot.
Well, I always recommend trying to find, well, if you can find somebody live that you can sit down and have a conversation with,
Not
that's
many
great.
Australians here in New York.
Okay, short of that, there's YouTube.
Uh-huh.
YouTube, be a little careful. Mind your sources, of course. Some people are on there with good intentions trying to teach you an Australian accent. I find what's even more helpful is finding real Australian people or people of whatever
Mm.
target accent you want to learn. A lot of times, celebrities, famous people that are on talk shows doing interviews.
Ah,
Um,
mm-hmm.
because then they're just themselves. They're not playing a character.
Mm-hmm.
So that can be a really good source. So, for example, okay, Let's think of some famous Australians. I don't know. Give me one. Who can you think of?
Nicole Kidman.
There you go.
Mhm.
So you just type in Nicole Kidman interview, honestly. And somebody as famous as her, you might have to really comb through and find something you're looking for. If you want a stronger version of the accent, I typically go further back before they became more Americanized.
Gotcha.
They're working in Hollywood a lot.
Mhm.
Typically, the accent starts to get a little more, less. Um, so that would be where I would start. Watch those, mimic them. If you have to pause the video, repeat after what they just said.
So
That
listening
starts
and
to build the muscle
speaking.
memory. Yeah.
So a bonus question here, because I'm always curious and I like this actor. What is Christian Bale's actual real accent?
Ah,
Voice, his real speech?
so that's an interesting one. He's Welsh.
Yeah.
Um, But when I met him, it was on the set of 310 to Yuma, and I was a stand-in.
Oh, those are crazy.
So I kind of got to hang out, but we're
Mhm.
supposed to kind of give the actors their distance. But after a while, you get on set and they start to get to know, okay, this guy's okay. I can talk to him. And so we had some conversations, but he was one of those actors you were talking about earlier that stayed in character.
Stayed in the
So even between shooting, he stayed in his American accent, and he's very good at it. He's played a
hmm
lot of American characters.
for sure.
So I couldn't tell you in person what he actually sounds like. I'm sure I could find a video where he's doing an interview.
Yeah, but
But yeah,
no
that
way to
was funny.
describe it. Yeah, because I always think about that and I listen because he's done so many different things, and it just sometimes seems a little muddled when he actually speaks in an interview because I
Yeah,
can't tell. I mean, I can't
right.
tell at all.
I love that surprise. You see an actor like House. I used to watch House a lot. Hugh Laurie, right? I was like, wow, okay, he's a great actor. I didn't even know he was British. And then I saw an interview. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Hugh Laurie's British? And then, of course, that prompted me to go back and watch his older stuff with his, sketch comedy show that he used to do with Stephen Fry. And I'm like, wow, he's
yeah.
really good with his accent.
It always blows me away when I find out. And then there's so many talented British actors that come here and are, obviously going to Hollywood and doing their stuff, but you would never know. You would never know.
Yeah.
And when they
Get
sing,
a good dialect coach and you can you can sound however you want.
that's a wow, that's really fascinating. I love that. So I haven't even looked at my list of questions to ask you. I told you I was just going to riff with you for,
It's all good.
and I did. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else I wanted to talk to you about. Let's see. So I'm assuming you do video games.
I would love to. I think I've done one ever. It was actually a grad student's project. So I don't even know if it's out there anywhere, but I would love to do more. I've just never really had the opportunity.
Do you think
Uh,
audiobooks are more in the genre that you
I
do a lot
mean,
of work
I
in?
love the storytelling and I love that I get to play the entire world of characters. For me,
Yeah.
that's really exciting. Um, Listen, if somebody is watching this or listening and is like, hey, he needs to be in my next video game, listen, I will not turn that down. I just haven't really pursued it, but I would love to. Sure.
Is there an accent that you find, a particular one that people find very difficult to master? Is there one that's troublesome for people?
I mean, probably everyone kind of has their own Achilles heel, right?
Mhm.
I think South African can be tricky.
Oh, yeah.
It's got the, kind of influences of British, but also the Afrikaans and yeah.
Afrikaans.
Yeah. It's a mixture of language and dialect, and to me, it's really hard to kind of nail down like consistent rules or guidelines of when you use certain sounds, and so that would probably take a little more practice for me anyway.
So,
Other people would be like, "Oh, what are you talking about? South African is easy." So yeah, I think it's different for everybody. That's
mhm.
one that I struggle with for
Do
sure.
you have, being that you're a coach, as a coach, the biggest issue that I come across with students is them feeling comfortable enough to let go and just to
Mm,
try anything. They're in their head and
yeah.
then it pulls away from any type of performance. Do you have that struggle too with, I mean, because you work with a lot of really experienced people too, that
Yeah. Oh, all
have
the
trouble
time.
letting go.
From, could be a local theater cast, it could be a Academy Award winning actor. It doesn't matter. We're all human, and as such, eventually we become self-conscious on some level, and we start overthinking things. And other people maybe are better at dealing with that, or just have more experience with it. But you know, I can't remember who it was, Bette Midler or somebody, talked about years later after their ridiculous career, how they still had stage fright.
Yeah.
Every time they would go on stage, doesn't matter the awards, the accolades, how long you've been doing it. So totally, I tell my wife that probably at least half of what my job responsibilities are is just to make actors feel more comfortable, is just to
Hmm.
be that security blanket of like, you got this. And when they're like, okay, my coach, who's been, he's experienced, he knows what he's talking about. I trust him. He tells me that I'm good. I'm good.
Hmm.
But it's hard sometimes to trust yourself, right?
Of course.
So, yeah, totally. I'm always dealing with that.
Is there any these A-list actors that you've worked with? Have you learned anything from them for performance?
Oh, yeah. I love being on set either as an actor or a coach, and I'm like, this is fantastic. It's a paid masterclass. They're paying me to be here,
That's true.
and I get to learn from the best.
Uh-huh.
I remember watching Russell Crowe doing he had a close-up scene in 310 to Yuma, and he showed me what he was doing of looking like through the camera. I was like, whoa, how are you doing that?
Through the
And
camera.
I just asked him. I didn't even mean to. It was between takes, and it just slipped out because I was watching as a stand-in. I'm supposed to watch and take notes, and I'm watching as an actor, like, ooh, how's he doing this cool technique? And I said, how did you do that? And he goes, come here, look. There's a piece of green tape right here, and there's a piece of tape right on the matte box on the inside, just next to the lens, and that's what he's looking at and looking through. And I'm like, whoa, that's really cool. And so then I took that. I'm like, even if I can't request a piece of tape on the camera when I'm acting, because maybe I'm not a big enough star, I could still use the idea of looking just next to it and looking kind of like right through it. Things like that. I'm like,
Yeah,
I never thought of. But
that's
I get to watch these masters do it. I'm like,
wow.
it works for them.
My gosh. Yeah,
Ah,
I know how they make their connections and create that authenticity is just well, it's a gift, it's a talent, it's something that they've honed for years and years.
yeah.
Beautiful stuff. So, okay, I asked you what your favorite dialect accent was. I don't want to entertain.
Yeah.
I've asked you, so you like the Scottish, and favorite movie set, or do you not want to play favorites?
Oh, man. I think when I was on Lone Ranger, oh, it was magical.
When was that, and who was in that?
Oh, when was 20 like 13, I think, or 14, somewhere in there. I can't remember the exact year,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I auditioned for it. I think I auditioned for like 10 of these little one-liners. Didn't get any of those. It was like a few months later and I thought, okay, moving on, didn't get that. But then my agent called me back in. They're like, "Oh, they want you to read for the flashback version of the main villain of the film." I was like, "Oh, cool." So I went in, had fun with it, and they cast me for it. I'm like, "Awesome." I was a little bummed though because I was like, "Oh, cool, man." In the audition, I had like pages and pages of text. When we actually filmed it, it was like silent acting. You could see my mouth moving, but you don't hear me
Yeah.
because it's all voiced over by, it's right in the middle of the movie. The chief of the Indian village is explaining to the Lone Ranger why Tonto is a little crazy in the head
Okay.
because of the bad thing that happened in the past. Anyway, but I'm walking up on the set. I'm like, whoa, Disney does it right. I feel like I'm in the movie, but I know it's a set because I'm walking up. We're in Colorado. It's a small mining town. And I was walking up the backside of it. So I could see like all the, scaffolding, all the, 2x4s and everything on the backside. And then we walk through this door and they close it behind us. And I turn around. I'm like, whoa, it disappeared. It became part of like the mountainside. They
Wow.
had built it out a little bit because they needed that angle. I'm like, this is crazy. So that was definitely one of my favorite sets to work on. And just the sheer, size of the thing and yeah, just the epic scale of it. In LA, when I came out to shoot on that movie later on for a different scene, they had all these blue screens up in this back lot and, shipping containers stacked up in the train track and the train up on top for this one scene where Tonto has to almost like fall off the train. And I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Wow.
So that was like big Hollywood movie magic, at its finest.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
Do you have a
Yeah.
dream client you'd like to work with or a dream project?
I don't know. I mean, ever since I was a kid, I've had like a list kind of in my head of actors that I wanted to meet and work with on a movie. Unfortunately, some of those have now, passed us. Robin Williams, I would have loved to have worked with,
Oh,
never
yeah.
got the chance. So I don't know. There's so many cool actors out there, and I just welcome the opportunity whenever it comes to me to work with whoever I get to work with. And the cool thing is, I like to not limit myself and say, oh, well, it's only this actor, because that actor, you never know when their career is going to blow up. And you can look back and say, oh, I got to work with
I
them
knew
before
them.
they.
Yeah. I knew them when.
Yeah. But also, everyone's got a fun story to share. And you might realize, oh, I didn't know anything about this actor going into this, but now I'm a fan. Like, I really like them now? So you
Has
never
anyone
know.
surprised you like that? Someone maybe you had a first impression and then you.
I mean, Helen Mirren, for sure. I was in awe of her work as an Academy Award winning actress, and
Yeah.
I loved her work in the movie The Queen that she won the award for. And I don't know why, but I was very, cautious, like, oh, she's the queen. I have to be very like proper and she's gonna be regal. And she was the most cool, down to earth, laid back. Like, if you didn't know who she was, that she was uber famous, you'd just be like, she's like someone's rad, really cool, like grandma.
Yeah.
She was just very friendly and personable with everybody. Um, so that was a pleasant surprise, just thinking she was going to be one thing, like maybe standoffish or whatever. And she was totally just kind and generous with everybody. I love those surprises, when you think, maybe they're going to be one way, and then they're just really cool. That happens a lot more, I think, than people realize.
I had that
Um,
happen when I met Meryl Streep. I was
oh,
doing live announce at Radio City Music Hall. So I'm in the back in a little dark, little thing with my scripts. And the ladies that were there was like Rebecca Romaine and Gwyneth Paltrow. They were all waiting to go out on stage. And so she comes up in front of me and she sits on a big speaker. And I'm like, I look up and she goes, "Hi, I'm Meryl." And she puts her hand out and I'm like, I'm I can't even speak. And then of course the crew is rushing and going, "Meryl, Mrs. Streep, we'll bring you a chair." And she's like, "Nah, I'm good." And she was just up there hanging on this speaker. And I thought, oh my God, I have just no interaction other than that. She was so polite, so down to earth. And I'm like, I respect you so much as an actor and what you've done, but totally cool. I mean, that was my legit, okay, I don't
oh,
know anybody else. This is awesome.
that's amazing. I'm jealous. I would love to meet Meryl Streep. That's so
Same
great.
kind of thing. Just like, not thankfully, not full of themselves, not thinking that they're better than everybody else. I mean, willing to, I don't need a chair. I'll just sit up here on this
Yeah,
box,
that's so cool.
which I thought was awesome. So now you coach privately?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
do. Okay. Okay, good. So students do want to learn this so much. So I'm going to give out all your information and they can contact you in case they want to get some private
All righty.
from you.
Sounds good. I always say these days, as my schedule allows, because
Of
I,
course.
I have a full dance card with all the audiobooks I'm narrating. But absolutely, as long as I'm able to, I will always help people that ask for it.
That's awesome. This has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for giving us your time.
Absolutely. It was my pleasure. Thank you.
Knowledge. So that's it for this episode of the Voiceover Gurus podcast. Excuse me. Head over to voiceover.guru to get more information on the coaching, or we have a fantastic community that is free for you to join on Circle, and you get all the latest updates on what's happening and meet a lot of really cool people. But Steve, give me your website address.
All right. It is coronaproductions.org. I had to use the .org. .com was taken.
Okay.
Coronaproductions.org.
Corona, like the beer.
That's right. Like the beer, not the virus.
Good distinction to
Yeah,
make. Thanks again. Everybody have a good rest of your day. That was wonderful.
that was fun.
That
Thank
was
you.
great. Oh my gosh, so much knowledge. I barely even looked at my notes.
That's how it should be.